today on Gender Perspectives. Welcome to another episode of discussing issues as it affects men and women, both young and old, and the society at large. Today, we'll be treating a topic I know most of us, particularly the young ones, are interested in. But first, let's go on a break.
We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that was
Why the main market is in chaos. People
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
we have taken the move by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Welcome back to Gender Perspectives on Signature TV. Today's hot topic is on Valentine's Day, which was celebrated yesterday, yes. Valentine's Day, also called Saint Valentine's Day or the Feast of Saint Valentine, is celebrated annually on February 14. It originated as a Christian feast day honoring a martyr named Valentine, and through later folk traditions, it has also become a significant cultural, religious, and commercial celebration of romance and love in many regions of the world. However, in modern times, the true meaning of Valentine seems to have changed and be misunderstood. Let's hear what the background report has to say about Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, also known as Saint Valentine's Day or the Feast of Saint Valentine, is an annual celebration held on February 14th, beginning as a Christian feast day commemorating a martyred saint named Valentine. It has evolved through folklore into a widely recognized cultural, religious, and commercial celebration of love and romance across numerous parts of the globe. Valentine was a priest who served during the 3rd century in Rome. When Emperor Claudius II decided that single men made better soldiers than those with wives and families, he outlawed marriage for young men. Valentine, realizing the injustice of the decree, defied Claudius and continued to perform marriages for young lovers in secret. When Valentine's actions were discovered, Claudius ordered that he be put to death. Other stories suggest that Valentine may have been killed for attempting to help Christians escape harsh Roman prisons, where they were often beaten and tortured. According to one legend, an imprisoned Valentine actually sent the first Valentine greeting himself after he fell in love with a young girl, possibly his jailer's daughter, who visited him during his confinement and wrote her a letter signed "From your Valentine," an expression that is still in use today. Regardless of its true origins, Valentine's Day gradually transformed into a day for expressing romantic love. By the Middle Ages, it had become associated with courtly love and chivalry, with poets and writers romanticizing the idea of exchanging love letters and tokens of affection. The tradition of sending Valentine's cards emerged in the 15th century, with the earliest known Valentine's card dating back to the 1400s. Despite its widespread popularity, Valentine's Day faces criticism. Some argue that its commercialization has overshadowed the true meaning of love and affection. Others criticize the pressure placed on individuals to participate in expensive and often performative displays of romance. Concerns are also raised about the environmental impact of mass-produced cards, gifts, and flowers. Furthermore, some argue that the holiday perpetuates unrealistic and often gendered expectations of romantic relationships. Today, Valentine's Day is a highly commercialized holiday, with millions of people around the world exchanging cards, gifts, flowers, and chocolates. It's a day for couples to express their love and commitment to each other, often through romantic dinners, outings, and gestures of affection. While the focus remains on romantic love, Valentine's Day has also expanded to include expressions of love and appreciation for friends and family.
Valentine's Day is celebrated in most countries, different cultures have developed their own traditions for this celebration. In some parts of the world, Valentine's Day is observed as a day for expressing love between family members and friends rather than that of romantic couples. Some traditions include leaving gifts for children and others, including acts of appreciation between friends. Valentine's Day most commonly associated with romantic love, with millions of Valentine's Day cards being exchanged each year. Gifts of flowers or a single red rose are sent with romantic messages to loved ones and couples to spend special time together. Well, to have this interesting conversation is Mrs. Udochi Alisigwe, an identity coach, and Mr. Godswill Ubonna, a teacher and convener of a youth development called Brothers Connect. Welcome to Gender Perspectives. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
All right, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
so
you.
today we are talking on Valentine's Day. I know it's a very hot and juicy gist. So let's just get right to it. Well, a lot of people hear about Valentine's Day, but a lot of people don't know what it's about. So just talk to us about what Valentine's Day is all about. Just give us an overview of it, basically. Go ahead.
Okay, Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
What it's supposed to be,
Yes.
as against what it is today. Valentine came into existence over 1,500 years ago, and it's as a result of an act of love by a Catholic priest, I think, by the name Valentine. He was conducting secret marriages because then the Emperor of Rome noticed that married men were better soldiers than the single men. So he decided to ban marriages. Those who wanted to get married hung. So secretly, this Catholic priest named Valentine was conducting marriages for couples who wanted to get married. And according to history, he was later arrested and killed on February 14th. There is another perspective of another Valentine, a priest who was in the prison. And I think he was helping Christians to escape from Rome at that time. And the legend goes that he fell in love with the daughter of his jailer. And a note that was later recovered from him, he signed it "From your Valentine." So from these two angles now, you see somebody who was doing a selfless act against an injustice that he saw was being meted out on people in the society. So he decided to do his own bit to help these people who were in need. And I think that's where the whole Valentine thing, he was later martyred, and a day to celebrate that selfless act of love was set aside by Christendom to honor him. Now, the Valentine we are seeing today is it leaves a lot of question marks in the heads of people like me. I'm trying to reconcile this story, this history, with what is going on currently now, where people who don't have business with themselves are celebrating Valentine, because this man was really doing this for people who wanted to get married. They had to get to a certain age for you to ever think of that. And now you find primary school children doing Valentine and secondary school children doing. And I'm asking myself, what's their business with Valentine? This is supposed to be a celebration of someone's selfless act of love to help people he felt were being marginalized. Instead of celebrating it, we just picked up that word, love. And forgot the act and every other thing surrounding it. And then
we just moved.
Just
God's will
exploded into something, something
I'm
else.
just thinking about what, in between the lines, what she's saying. about what Saint Valentine did
Yeah.
and the way it's misrepresented in our time. However, if you want to look at love holistically and people want to practice love in the real sense, love does not imagine hurting the other person. Love does not imagine putting people under pressure. Love doesn't imagine sidelining people. So if actually people want to do what he did, what was an act of love, he demonstrated in his love, he demonstrated selflessness and sacrifice.
Yes.
Okay? And that alone is the core value for Valentine. Someone should feel I defined love at some point as an exchange of what is valuable for what is not valuable. Maybe someone is in a position where he does not enjoy a certain privilege. Maybe someone is in a position where some things are denied, and you exchange such situation or conditions for such a person to enjoy this. So that is what I see as love. So if actually what Saint Valentine did is upheld in our time, then the core ingredients of what characterizes his attitude and action should be upheld.
Exactly.
But then again, you also know that as time goes on, people, like I was saying somewhere, human being in our nature will manufacture evil. We don't even think of it, we manufacture it. So people will always want to do something to change the narrative. They want to do something different from what is obtainable. And in the bid of doing that, people don't think about the effect or the result of the actions. They go on and do all manner of things without considering.
Do you think that maybe as you were speaking, something just came to me?
Okay.
You know, it's supposed to be a Christian celebration.
Okay.
Now, but now it's a secular celebration.
Yes.
It's no longer a Christian thing. So there are other people who come from different religious backgrounds who might want to participate in this kind of celebration. But because they are not from a Christian background, do you think that's where the whole chaos came from?
So everybody's now doing what they like.
Yes, yeah. You know, this is a celebration. They give cards and everything, but I'm not a Christian. So when I'm now sending my own message to my loved one, I will do it based on what I believe in. If I'm an atheist and nothing concerns me with your God and everything, I will just maybe my own focus is on the sexual aspect of it. So I just
You see, that's the interpretation.
That's why I'm now trying to balance it. Maybe it came from that. People's different orientations and everything. Everybody wanting to celebrate this beautiful festival or whatever. But I'm not coming from my own, what I want it to be, because of my own belief system.
Okay.
Yeah. When it's Valentine is a celebration of love, but to me, what do I understand love as? Love is this to me, love is that to me. So we are not looking at acts of love again or acts of selflessness. We're not looking at just the whole flowers, the jamboree, the everything. So now we start bringing in our own different
You are even talking about
intentions and everything.
Who is even considering flowers in our time again? Flowers
in our own environment, flowers don't have value.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
In a maybe Nigerian system or African system, we don't value.
I would say in our own Igbo society.
Okay, we don't look at these cards, flowers as something very interesting. It doesn't quite catch our fancy again. We rather look into, let's go and party, let's go and have some fun with my guys and girls, let's just roll it all through the night. That's for them, that's the main object of Valentine for them. So people don't look at that point of trying to calm down and reflect. Reflection of what love, true love means.
Yes, and talking about, how people misunderstand the true meaning of Valentine. Everybody has expectations.
Oh, okay.
Men have expectations. Women have expectations. So now, man, woman, expectations. Let's talk about what are the expectations of men and women when it comes to Valentine's Day celebration these days?
These days, I like that these days that you put because these days, the Valentine is just an opportunity for them to do what they normally do, but on a hyped level. Yeah, because women now have a lot of entitlement mentality these days. A woman does not believe that she should give anything.
Thank you.
She's now a recipient.
Yes.
Give me, I'm a taker. So their expectations now, it's like youths in the university now. You're in a female hostel. The competition will be who will receive more from men. And then you will become the queen.
It's like a competition now.
Yes. So now, when there is this competition of who is going to be the one that will be showered most with giving,
The guys will be under pressure.
You see now that it's no longer a Valentine's thing, because Valentine should be when you will give an act of love. No, now women
Are the takers.
yes, we are the recipients. We don't give, we take.
Yes.
So it's now a competition on. Then they go out to make sure that they receive as many gifts. The gifts are no longer there. If you do that mistake and give a card, or you go and write something and give to somebody these days, you're on your own.
Yes.
Whatever, if you were trying to nurse a relationship, you have murdered it at that stage. Because what they are now looking at is material things, ostentatious things, things that will show that.
So they can brag about.
Yes, things that they can brag about, things that they can show off. Now, the women are not looking at giving you anything. If you do that mistake and say it where women are, what are you going to give? There will be an opera. They are expecting to be given.
Yeah.
So they're now going out to solicit for those who have the financial power to be able to meet those expectations that they have.
Wow.
Wow.
I want to say something actually. That apart from the fact that women think it's their entitlement to receive gifts from men, some women also release gifts. Maybe because of the culture of where they are coming from, they don't believe that I'm the one to be receiving all the time. Some people have the culture of releasing things.
That's why I said these days. I admire that these days.
These days as well, we still find people that will still release something.
They are in the minority.
But a good number of them sometimes will do that to secure your loyalty. Okay. They would want the man to know that I am still the one in your life and no one else. So I'm giving this gift
to imprison you.
Yeah.
Some give it with the expectation of receiving. They are not giving it because they want to.
And most likely what they will give will be just a bait.
So that
expecting what you will give at the end of the day. And for the guys, usually the guys, if you are in their discussion, you will hear a lot of things. You will hear them say, this girl, they bill me, this and that. And for some people, they will be under pressure to get some things ready to impress, not really to give because they have it. They will go all the way to even sell what they have to get the actual thing the other person, the opposite sex, is requiring from them. Some, they have been told what they will give them. So they have a target. It's like a project you are working towards. And I imagine what is obtainable for somebody who is still receiving. You are in your parents' house and you are still receiving. And you are to carry the one you are receiving to give to another person. That is to say, you are taking care of another person while you are still being taken care of. You see, that's a very, very wrong mindset to start with. So the guys usually are the ones who feel it is their responsibility, because the society have taught them so, that men are to be taking care of the women. So in every respect whatsoever, they want to be the one to give.
But don't men expect something too?
Same way women that's where we are going. That's where we are going. Okay. After the point of giving, I will expect something, because they say there's a common saying, you scratch my back and I scratch your back. So that giving will have to be at a particular venue, either my house or a hotel in town where we'll
Okay, sexual
consolidate.
favors are being
Yes,
exchanged for gifts.
Yeah.
basically.
Oh,
If it doesn't happen, then you'll find your guy telling guy you be mugu. Say this girl don't eat you. I told you over time you should drop this one. And you see certain guys every Valentine they will keep changing women, because what they received from the previous one didn't match with what they give. So they want someone who will be more loyal to give to them what they something commensurate to what they're about to give. So you see people all manner of attitude. But I have this to say. Must we wait for Valentine to give gifts to people?
why are we even making so much noise about Valentine?
That's the point.
Because that's it. Because what we are practicing has no relationship with what we are supposed to practice.
Exactly.
This is supposed to be a day to remember somebody who gave himself, who sacrificed his life for what he thought would benefit others. And now it has turned into a day for people, for the youths to go mad. Because you find all sorts of things happening. Those who make so much money on Valentine's Day are those who operate nightclubs.
Yeah.
And then you're asking yourself, what is the correlationship between clubs and somebody who died because he was wedding people who the society said should not get married?
Yeah. You know, like I said, people manufacture evil. People manufacture all shit. They don't even think it's like something is inside. They want to give it out. So each time somebody will come with his own version of what has not been, so as to ensure that he spices, he introduces something into the system. So taking people away from the main object of Valentine's Day celebration. And all these are so that people will register their presence and their whatever in their generation. People want to be known for something. People want to be remembered for something. So they don't care going any length to ensure that that is done.
Whether it's negative or positive does not matter anymore.
People will, in this Valentine or in the season of Valentine, invent more evil way to take drugs. They will also ensure, guys will also ensure that their girls also get high. To introduce in all manner of drugs. And it goes on from that day, that drug is introduced into the system. People start practicing it. So people are thinking, as we are speaking now, other ways to explore into things, devices that will make them appear different.
That's the world we live in these days. It's crazy, honestly. And this Valentine's Day puts a lot of pressure on people, especially the single ones, because now it's looking like Valentine's Day is only for boyfriends and girlfriends, husbands and wives, or people who are in a couple. What are your thoughts on this pressure? Like, what do you have to say about the whole drama of I'm single, I don't have anybody to spend Valentine's with and all of that?
Valentine is just one day. I wonder why somebody who will be under pressure over Valentine's Day is just one single, as far as I'm concerned, insignificant day. Because it's not even up to a day. You'll be surprised. Some of them, those in the university, they will go for lectures that day. Their lecturers will not tell them not to.
Friday is Valentine's weekend.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So they are
That's
going
the
to
weekend.
extend it.
Exactly.
So what's going to happen is, I wonder personally why somebody, if you have if you have an understanding of what Valentine's Day is supposed to be, and you have values and principles by which you live your life, I think you will not be under pressure.
Yeah.
Being single.
Yeah.
It comes down to who are you and what do you take important? What do you call priority in your life? Okay, you're not in a relationship, and since it's all about celebrating relationships these days, and you're not in any relationship, why are you under pressure? Why are you, the pressure is not coming from society, it's coming from within you. Because if you feel that, I don't have a boyfriend, I'm not married, and I have to celebrate, that evening you wear something and run to a club. You're the one who it's your decision.
It's your decision.
And whatever comes out
Definitely
from that day, I bet you it's not going to be something that you will cherish.
No.
You're not going to encounter your other half that night.
Yeah, I think it's an issue of identity crisis. People have not really discovered who they are. They have not discovered who they are. Because if I know who I am and I appreciate myself for who I am, I don't need another person to validate me. Because in the course of validating me, or in the course of being part of a discussion, where did you celebrate your vow, this, people want to also be part of the discussion. People think that when they say, I did my vow with my family, I went and visited my parents, they are my first love. I shared love with them in the neighborhood where I grew up with. I gave some young boys some fairly used clothes and all of those. This, if you give yourself this self-validation and interpretation about what Valentine is, people will leave you alone. Because they want you to align with what they want, they already do and what they believe. So if you come up with your own definition about what Valentine is for you, you will find also, I bet you, everybody has a follower. You will definitely have the followership you think, because there are people waiting for the first person that will take the first step.
Yes.
So if you take the first step in the right direction, of course, people will move. So for those who are single, it is a time to really tell yourself, am I really up for all this drama? Is it really worth it?
These things you're saying is for somebody who has rules and regulations by which he lives his life. Why I say rules and if I go into values and principles, now it looks a bit big. But I don't do this, I do this. When you don't have that, so many people don't have that.
And that's where the problem
lies. They don't have that.
That's where the problem lies.
Where are you going? I'm not going anywhere. Where? Okay, I'm going. And the person lifts her bag and follows you. Because she doesn't have any plan for herself or himself. And wherever you're going is okay. But if you know, I don't do this, where are you going? I'm going to the nightclub and I'm not a nightclubber. You sit down. Yes. But some people do not have values and principles by which they live their lives. They don't even know who they are, apart from saying their name and probably their course of study and all that. If you tell people to tell you who they are without mentioning their names, their profession, and where they come from, you find out that a lot of people will not know what they will tell you.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what they stand for. And that's why this craze over Valentine. Because nobody, you find out that nobody really sits down to ask, what is this Valentine all about? So many of the youths don't even know, these days, don't even know about Saint Valentine and what he did. They don't know. If you ask them, how did this celebration come about? Just like Christmas, they'll tell you it's celebrating the birth of Christ. They can't tell you what it's all about. All they know is Lover's Day.
That's actually the new name.
Yes.
Lover's Day.
Yes. It's Lover's Day. So you go and get yourself a lover and then you catch fun with your lover. These drugs he's saying, or he mentioned, these drugs are for the ultimate pleasure.
Yes.
That's what those drugs are for. You lose your inhibition so that you will not feel, you will not be in control of yourself anymore. And you flow with whatever is going on around you. So the whole Valentine thing is,
So for the singles, it's actually a time to create alternatives. Whatever you don't like, whatever you think is not right, you should have an alternative to go about them. You create alternative for that season. There are better things to do at that season which will make you not even remember what others are doing. Because if you say you just be indoors and be alone, I'll tell you the truth, you almost like feel lonely and depressed.
For those who are staying in the hostels, maybe everybody goes away and you're left alone.
And those who are working, or even
those who are working,
you see people in the office trying to round off the activity
That-
just to
that's-
leave,
Gifts
and
all of
you
that.
are just like,
in your house now,
I
is
the
there
only
any
person?
point in your house, in point in time that you will stay that you can't find something to do?
I'd rather think that what should be done in that season, like I say, creating alternative. You just have to, if it is few of 3 or 4 friends that you can still hang out that day.
Must you hang out?
No,
Don't play with the children in your neighborhood
What I'm
if you don't
saying,
know what else
if
to
you
do.
feel it's about going out thing,
If you go out, you will see things that will make you feel somehow.
you can see
An
hang.
alternative to feeling lonely, you know.
You hang out.
You just step out of your-
remember that everybody is going out that day.
Go out.
And where the problem is are those places where you hang out.
You
That
hang
is-
out in your house now.
It's-
That's
you
why I
hang-
said
you have a community of friends.
If you gather the children in your vicinity, that area where you live,
Aside-
and cook a pot of rice for
aside
them,
from the children,
and they
there are
make noise
community
for
of
you.
friends who want to leave their house that day, but don't know. They are indecisive of where to go.
if they had not mentioned that day is Valentine's Day, would they feel the pressure of going out?
They will not, but because the society wants them to align to what they are doing.
And
so
that is, they
you
are also
help them.
somehow aligning to that. You're not defining who you are. Because when you define who you are, and you know that, okay, because somebody called today Lover's Day, it doesn't have to shift what I have planned for myself this week. Have I finished what I planned for myself this week that I'm going to do Lover's Day? I don't have a boyfriend, I don't have a husband, so what am I going out to do? Okay, my friends, those friends you want to hang out with, one of them will bring the girlfriend or the boyfriend, and then they will start intimidating you that is single.
Not really.
That kind of a thing, because you're hanging
Or
out.
are you talking about your
Not
single
really.
friends?
There are single friends in your group
That will be wallowing in the loneliness.
no,
because that's
no.
what I'm seeing it
There are
as.
fun environments to be with. There are
And
fun
everybody,
environments.
they go out at the back of their minds. They know
See,
that they are.
Okay,
this
let me
is- and-
give you a little part of what I did when I was single. I have a group of friends where we, in that season of time, we go out just to play games. We go out to a video house.
So basically spending time with friends
We
and
s-
loved ones.
Spend time with friends, and because of that, they say you will sponsor my lunch today. And we just do all of those. We just do little crazy things to create beautiful memories. Not because we are feeling somehow about the celebration that we're not part of it, but because we want to feel ourselves.
That's the
Well, that's
pressure.
an angle to
The
it.
pressure is okay.
That's an angle
Me,
to
I would
it,
say,
you know.
if you will feel pressured, go home and spend time with your family.
Yes.
If you will feel pressured, I bet you if you go home, you will forget that there's anything happening
That's
that day.
true.
Because because when you come together as singles, one person will throw one joke, say that all of us were there here now, don't get babe.
Well,
oh.
the thing is, since I think one of the reasons why people seem to misunderstand this idea of Valentine is they feel like, okay, since this priest, married, he was involved with making sure couples got married and all of that. So they have this idea that, okay, it is strictly for romantic love. And it's, in a way, I don't know, is it a valid point to make when people say this thing, they want to make it to be a romantic thing because of what the saint did, which involves romantic love. Do you think it is do you think this idea is narrow? And what's your perspective concerning that angle of line of thoughts rather?
Well, St. Valentine was wedding couples who wanted to get married. And now it's narrowed down to romance between those who intend to get married. And now those who don't intend to get married, but who just want to feel the couple thing are now doing it. They are not, they don't want to get married. Do you understand? Because it's like some priests today do it. If you're having issues with the families, if the people who want to get married are having issues with their family, the man, this family is saying we don't want this lady, and all that kind of thing. Some priests will tell you to come to them. That once two of you are in agreement that they will wed you people. Now, if you don't belong to that category, I don't know what you're doing with the Valentine thing. If you, like I told you earlier, those in the primary school, do they have business with that Valentine?
Yeah.
I think those who are more principled should start speaking out and holding probably events to commemorate, because I think there's a vacuum, and that's why the life will fill it up, either with good or bad. Since there are no positive events and activities that go around, that happen around this time, a vacuum is created. Something must fill it.
Of course.
So imagine a situation where we have, the way we celebrate Christmas and everything, where we have events that bring out or highlight the core values of Valentine and love. I think it will start. Some of these youths are doing this thing because it was trending. They don't know anything about it.
Well, most churches do. Most churches have all these Valentine conferences or Valentine meetings, where particularly for youth,
where they are talking to youth about
love, the right kind of love.
That's not,
and they don't want to hear it.
Look at the number of giveaways and free gifts and free will donations that go around Christmas. Why don't we experience such things during Valentine? A church will do widowhood outreach, do children's, gather the children in and do a Valentine's party for children.
That's what love is all about, actually.
Yes.
Feed the children those days. And don't do all these couples conference. You're still coupling the whole thing.
Yes.
Because Saint Valentine, I believe, his intention was not really to
strictly.
Yes, he just saw that these people. Why are you denying them? They didn't say they will not be soldiers. They just want to get married. But because probably there was a war going on and you want them to fight, you tell them you will not marry.
Does marriage actually imply distraction?
I don't know. He felt
that was his line of thought.
Yes, that was his line of thought.
Yeah.
So,
that the young men the soldiers who were not married were
performing better
than those who were married.
Of course.
So, but you're now denying somebody his right as a human being. When I want to get married, I get married. Now you're telling me I found a woman I want to marry, and you're telling me because I'm a soldier, I shouldn't. And probably when he goes to war, then you will say, if he goes to war and doesn't come back,
that's all.
And then or sometimes when they go and come back, another man has married the woman that they wanted to marry, that kind of thing. And you're telling him, so Saint Valentine was like, don't deny them this thing. They will still go and fight, but this is what they want.
So in essence, Valentine and the romance. The romance part of it is a kind of narrow. There are other aspects of the Valentine and love that should be explored.
Yes, because he was not really looking at it from the romantic point of view. He was trying to help these people.
He was not looking at it.
So if we channel helping, if we see Valentine as a time to help those who are in need, identify a need within your environment and then meet it. I think that was what he was basically doing.
Do all you can, because at some point some people may know a need, but may not as well have the boldness to go meet the need. Valentine at that point understood this risk he was about to take, because in our time we don't except if it is business. Except if it is business, something you will gain something from. People don't like taking risks, especially if their lives are too involved. So we saw a young man who felt that even if I die doing this, it is worth the cost. And so he went all the way to ensure that the right thing are done. So if people will learn the culture of ensuring that the right thing is done wherever, at any time, aside the season of Valentine, it's still a culture to emulate from that season of Valentine.
Yes, and I think one of the major influences that has made people lose touch of what Valentine is social media.
Wow.
Because there are a lot of performative displays of affection on social media everywhere. I mean, we all know how it goes. Once you open your social media, WhatsApp, anything, you're already seeing gifts, you're already seeing all forms of. How do you think this impacts the authenticity of Valentine's celebration? Are people really expressing their true feelings, or do they just want to show off?
At some point, you will see people trying to use that season to make up for an already existing disagreement. Maybe they have not been in talking terms. Maybe there have been a lot of issues happening amongst them. So they want to use that season to, and that has not been guaranteed yet that they are actually together. So somebody who's by the corner, who doesn't know why I am doing what I'm doing in this season for this person, will carry it and say, okay, these people are very perfect, they have been, and you put your partner or whoever you are into a relationship with under pressure to really go beyond his capacity. Because any gift or any kindness you want to show that goes beyond your reach per time is no longer a gift, is foolishness. Because at that point where you are giving out what you, it's just like somebody trying to borrow to impress, borrow to offer a help. You don't do that. You give from what you have.
That's what social media does now. Social media creates an unrealistic expectation.
Yes.
Because it's like what you see on social media is like two friends who are coming out from having issues. We've already scheduled a photo shoot, and probably one does something and they're coming out from the same room and they're abusing themselves, but they've already scheduled the photo shoot, and when they come out, ow, ow, and they do that kind of, and the photographer gets what he wants, and then they go. Nobody, those social media will just show you those pictures.
That's what we want to
They don't tell you the reality on ground. Now, you look at those pictures and you're seeing, two friends who so much love themselves and all that, not knowing that after that picture, they fought. And that after then, they don't no longer talk to themselves. You're just seeing something that doesn't have context. It doesn't have depth.
Yeah.
And what social media does is that we believe so much in what we see online. When people present an already made image, the intention is to give you that impression, which you take. But you should know that this is an impression that this person wants to create. Might not necessarily be true. We now allow social media to become a guide to how we live our lives, because everybody wants to be doing it the way it's trending. You want to be on top of your game and everything. You don't want to be seen as somebody who is slacking and all that.
Of course, why should I?
And
why
then,
should I?
So when people now present
already.
Those images,
I have people who are looking up to me, possibly classmates, people I grew up with, people that already are holding me in a particular regard. So why should I create a different impression?
It's their business. From when I was a little child, there's something I used to tell my mom when I have a fallout with her, and she will say, Ibegi. I'll tell her, Mommy, I don't have eBay. When I came to this world, I came alone. I don't even have a twin. So don't do that eBay thing for me. Your expectations for me is your own.
Expectations.
It doesn't have to be my own. That's where when you understand who you are, you know that, this person expects me to do this, but I don't like doing that thing, so I'm not going to do it. Simple. So your expectation is yours, it's not mine.
But there are people who like working under pressure. That is, they say they prefer when they are under tension, they perform better. They feel they do their best when they're under pressure.
And when the pressure is coming from different sources.
Different sources.
How are you going? You'll be a marionette that will be dragged here because you perform best under pressure. But where is your pressure coming from? Social media.
Okay.
You think, okay, you've met up with this one. A higher one will be flashed on the social media, and you jump up again.
So, in other words, your whole life outside of social media is nothing. And
social media should not be a guide. It should not guide you on how to live your life.
I'm trying to agree to a point with what you are saying, actually. That is, outside social media, your life is on hold.
Yes.
And so, if social media is played, your life is playing along.
Well, this brings the question whether this celebration is actually necessary, because you mentioned something earlier when you were talking and you were like, this celebration which is not even necessary. And so I'm starting to wonder, is this celebration of any importance at all? Is it necessary? Is this something that we have to take so seriously the way it is taken so seriously now?
For me personally, it's not necessary. It's not.
So there's no value.
Because when you look at what is the outcome that you're seeing in society, you will want to, if it's possible for them to ban it, especially for us.
I beg to differ.
Especially for us here, because if you go to the Western world, you'll find out that Valentine cards, that people take time to write messages that will that will impact. Do we appreciate cards here?
That's what I'm saying.
Try it now. Go and write something and give to somebody.
Somebody said, is it Napoleon Hills? He said the world is not bad because of the influence of bad people. It's because the good people kept quiet. So that Valentine has been abused to a reasonable extent doesn't mean that we shouldn't take out the good out of Valentine. That sacrifice, that selflessness, that purity of
doesn't happen
people.
Again.
There are a few people who still uphold that, apart from that special day of Valentine.
Well, because of time, I just want to ask this final question before we close. How do you think people can come back to understanding the true meaning of Valentine? Just briefly, just what do you have to, advise to people? How do we go back to what Valentine really is?
I think we should go back to the family. Let us make Valentine celebration a family celebration, where, if it's possible, parents should gather their children on that day, just like Christmas, and then you have a fun time. It shouldn't. This one should happen at the beginning of the year, and after New Year, let the next time we gather, cook, make merry, invite friends who can come around, and just relax and have fun. People around you will get a feeling of that. I think we should come back to the family first of all, because I believe if we celebrate Valentine in the family, when your children are going out, they will carry that tradition that is established and still go out with it. That's
what are your 2 cents before we close?
Okay, I think Valentine should go back to the major reason why it started in the first place, which was doing the right thing for people who feel they may not be able to speak up for themselves, do it by themselves, going all the way out to do it for them, just to ensure that the right thing is done. And when you start doing something that is right, you may not as well get the audience, the applause, but then consistently doing that over time, we create a lot of community around you where people will be translated into that kind of ideology which you oppose. So when we start it, we shouldn't just stop at starting it. We should keep at it so that the community can be a place where we love and we give out love to people.
Thank you so much, Udochi and Godswill, for this lovely, lovely, lovely conversation on Valentine's Day. I hope we all understand what Valentine's Day is and practice it the right way. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Valentine's Day, while intended to be a celebration of love, often gets muddled with misconceptions, especially among young people. And these misconceptions include ideas such as it's only for romantic couples, you need to have a date, expensive gifts are a must, it's all about sex, and it's a competition. And it's also undeniable that Valentine's Day has become heavily commercialized. The pressure to buy expensive gifts and plan elaborate gestures can be overwhelming for some. However, many people are pushing back against this by opting for a more personalized and meaningful expressions of love, such as handmade cards or experiences shared together. And these misconceptions have heavily affected how the celebration is being perceived. Let's hear the idea people have on the streets about Valentine's.
My own view on Valentine, first of all, Valentine, as you know, is like a love celebration, or how people put it today. But in my own point of view, it's celebrated not the way it's supposed to be. First of all, you go back to the issue of how Valentine was like. People celebrate, the celebration is like a memory of the Saint Valentine from Rome, whereby on the day, Romans normally, you have one wife, or should I say one girl, that a man and a woman, they come together and then they spend that entire day together. That's originally how Valentine was celebrated. But before that, Valentine was, the reason why people celebrate Valentine was like a general love celebration, love for one another, not girlfriend and boyfriend love or husband and wife love, or the type of love people are doing these days. That's not how it's supposed to be celebrated. But since that times change and people adapt to certain things, that's what has caused this kind of celebration or the kind of way to celebrate Valentine's Day. But I personally think that the way it's celebrated is not how it's supposed to be celebrated.
Valentine, I would say that it's an important occasion or event because it's a time that people express love to their loved ones. And to me, although it's not the only time that you can express love, but every time, like Christmas, we know that Christmas is specifically made for celebration of Christ's birth, just like Valentine now, we are using it to express love. So on that day, people are expected to you go out of your way to show people love, visit the less privileged, show them special love, and that is what I think is expected that day. To me, it's not a day to go and fornicate or do all those things. No, it's a day to go and show love to the less privileged, the motherless babies, and maybe the beggars on the streets. That is what it is to me.
It's actually a person by the name Valentine. So it's a saint of the Catholic religion or Catholic Church. So I think because of his good work, and I can't really remember all the history behind him, but it's about his good work towards people, his kindness and love towards people, especially the youth. During the time, I guess that it was impossible for people to share love or to even come together to become this thing, to become partners or husband and wife. So that was when he are kind of show love to people and everything. And when he eventually died, so people see him as an icon, and the youth they start celebrating him and all that. So, but now nobody even talk about the person in question or the reason for the celebration and his lifestyle. So people kind of change the narrative with the things that we are seeing in the environment today. So people coming back to understand the true meaning of Valentine, I think is go back to history, because history is very, very important. Know why these days this person is actually being celebrated, know why it's like this, and know if that's what you're actually doing, or are you doing something contrary to it. So that's it. It's about reorientation, reformation of the idea, so to see if that good that is being turned to another thing or whatever. see if there's a way to make it a better one.
Well, Valentine has to do with love, you know, love not only for your friends, your family, your husband, your wife, even for your enemies too. So Valentine is all about sharing and caring for your loved ones and both for your enemies too. So that's just a brief explanation of what I know about Valentine. Now people think or they see Valentine as a time of where you go to hotel and do whatever. But Valentine is not only about having some sexual intercourse, or as you put it. Valentine has to do with sharing, um, caring, praying together, eating together, and how to love each other.
Valentine is not necessarily a holiday for the lovers, from my opinion. It's a day to show love to your mom, your dad, your sister, everybody. But, in Nigeria we dey now, so it's boyfriend and a girlfriend type of something. But show love to your mother and your father small. Buy them something. And for those of you that have babe, well, go on with your Valentine packages. What happened to those days in primary school where Emeka will give you sweets and you'll be smiling like a fool? Now this making everything seem so overwhelming. But if you have money and you can run it, you run it. If you don't have money, you can buy your babe sweet.
Valentine is okay though. I don't really have any ideas on Valentine, but for those that are in love, they can celebrate Valentine. For the single ones, we'll wait for next year as normal. But Valentine is cool. The gifts, teddy bears, cakes, and whatnot. Valentine is not really a necessary holiday, but it has been put there for reasons, history reasons. But it's just I don't know, but I don't really fancy Valentine. I don't know why people love celebrating Valentine. I think it's the oppression and whatnot. I don't get babe, normal, but for those that I love and get babe, they should celebrate. It's nice.
Valentine is good though, but the way people are celebrating it now, e get as e be, because some people are doing bad thing because of Valentine, which is not good. Because whatever you do, you still have the consequences. Valentine, they say that it's time to share love. What type of love are you sharing? Are you using that time to do bad things, or are you using that time to meet people, show them love by giving them what you know that they will really need?
Valentine's Day at its core is a celebration of love in various forms. It is not just about romantic gestures, expensive gifts, or societal expectations. Instead, it's a day to consciously acknowledge and appreciate the connections that enrich our lives. This includes romantic love, of course, but also the bonds we share with family, friends, and perhaps most importantly, the love we have for ourselves. To rediscover the true spirit of Valentine's Day, we need to understand that it's about genuine expression, thoughtful gestures, and heartfelt appreciation. A handwritten card expressing gratitude to a friend, a phone call to a distant relative, or simply taking time for self-care and reflection can be more meaningful than any extravagant activity. And ultimately, Valentine's Day should be a reminder to cherish the love in our lives, not just on one day of the year, but every day. By removing superficiality and focusing on genuine connection, we can reclaim the true essence of this holiday and make it a celebration of love in its purest and most authentic form. Well, this is where we draw the line on today's episode of Gender Perspectives. Thank you for staying with us all through the program, and I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Make sure to follow us on all our social media platforms. We are live 24/7 on YouTube. As always, I am Uchenna Chimdi Olwoha. See you next week.